Hey, brother, man, a kind of a mini rack and stack today, and with a return guest again.
And those are the best ones because we always tell guests that they only have two ways of coming back. They were either so bad that we have to have them back because there's no way they could be that bad, or they're so good that we want more. And Daniel is definitely number two.
He is, and what's really cool with Daniel is we'll touch a little bit on what we his first visit on the show, but what's really cool is he's coming back to talk about a whole different venue, or not a venue, but a whole different direction that he's taken his life. Not which is kind of cool too. So, which prompted me to to want to have him back. Not and the fact that he's just a great guy. So.
Well, and he was hanging out with Les Brown a while back, so he is hungry.
Hungry.
That's right.
You know what? I'm kind of hungry for getting Daniel on here. What do you think?
You and me both. Let's get him on.
Right. Let's go, brother. Boom. There we are, buddy. How you doing, my man?
Fantastic. I couldn't be better. How are you?
It'd be tough to be any better than us. I mean, here we are chatting with each other today, longtime friends already, and it's just it's good stuff, right?
Absolutely.
Beautiful, beautiful. So Daniel Beattie. I mean, am I pronouncing that right? Beattie or is it Beattie? It is Beattie.
Yeah.
I'm not real good at phonics. I'm one that thinks that knife should be pronounced knife. So I mean, and because there's this has nothing to do with anything but I'm going to say this. The capital of the United States is what?
Washington, D.C.
Say it again.
Washington, D.C.
Love it. You got an R in there, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
See, we're both from Michigan. You're from Michigan now. I'm from there originally. And I get so many people that say, there's no R in Washington. I says, if you could not pronounce the K in knife, I can put an R in Washington, right?
That's right.
Come on. I mean, look at that. People used to say ain't wasn't a word, and regardless wasn't a word. Now it is. So, I mean, we can change things as we go. So, well, welcome back. I mean, this is great. You were on probably a bit close to a year ago with your lovely wife, Megan, who is a superstar in the training world, the marketing world on her own. And we did the husband-wife team thing there, and you were doing the Her King music at the time, which I think you still do some of that, but from hip hop to, I guess, would that be what you was hip hop, or is that a little more rap, or what was that?
Yeah, hip hop, R&B.
Yeah, I loved it. Whatever it was, I loved it.
A little bit of everything.
I think I told you when you were on with Megan, not necessarily my genre of music necessarily. Not my go-to, but you're darn good, man. That was some good stuff. I've shared you with numerous people. So, matter of fact, we're starting to do some refurbishing now. So one of these days we'll be popping your show back on just because it was good. But so tell us about what's going on. A little background first, and let's talk about what you're doing with the Rise Above Speaking. Give us a little background to Daniel first.
Absolutely. Well, first, thank you for having me back on. It's just a pleasure to be here. Yeah, when I came on the first time, I was really focused on my music, which I still am. It's still a big passion of mine. But since then, I've had some coaching from the great Les Brown. I've retaken over my fence company that I sold a couple of years ago. We revamped that. We're totally changing the way that people sell fence and the whole customer experience in the fence industry. And I'm really leaning in to the motivational speaking when it comes to Rise Above Speaking. So Rise Above Speaking is my platform where I share motivation for, overcoming adversity, for mindset, for just overall breaking through those glass ceilings that we set on our own lives and our own possibilities.
Love that. And you just hit on something that I love is you said breaking through the glass ceilings that we set for ourselves, because we set way more than anybody else can set for us, right?
Absolutely. It's all paradigms. It's all self-limiting belief systems that aren't ours. They're at some point, think about it like this, Randy. When you were born, you never had any thoughts about what you could or couldn't do. Something happened in our lives that said, this is where you're at, and you can't do this, and you can do this, and this is where you belong. And we start owning those things.
Hmm.
So at some point, we've got to reprogram those brainwaves and say, that's not really ours. We don't own those. We're going to break through that and create a life that we truly love.
Well, that's well said. So, was there because you had your music, you've got your fence company. I know you travel a lot with Megan,
Absolutely.
and like I said, she's incredible. I've watched her talk before, and both online as well as in person, and incredibly good. Megan Beattie. If you Megan knows marketing, I believe is what she goes by. I give her a little
That's
props
correct.
here.
Mhm.
Um,
The lead queen.
the lead queen. Yes, exactly. If you need leads, Megan's the lady, right? I love it. So, was there a moment in time where you realized you was bumping up against this glass ceiling, and then that caused you to break through, and then that caused you to say, "Hey, you know what? I can help other people," or is it just something you drifted into? I guess was there a defining moment, or was there?
There was.
There
There
was.
was. So my whole life, I always felt like I was destined for more. I knew that I had a purpose. I just didn't know what it was. So where I came from, it kind of kept me in this little box. The environment. People. The old adage that you're a product of your environment is sometimes true. It's true if you allow it to be. So for so many years, I allowed it to be until I came across a little bit of mindset coaching, this forum called Landmark, which really got me in the thinking that all of these different paradigms that we put on ourselves are just like wearing different glasses and seeing life through these lenses that shift our perspective of what's real. And once I was able to take all of those different lenses and those different focuses off of my own life, I could truly see what was possible for myself. Then, obviously I met Megan. We started creating some great things. And once I met Les Brown, he just lit a fire inside of
Hmm.
me. Just started roaring. And I knew that if I could go from where I was, you know, come from the slums, tons of homelessness, drug addiction when I was young, to owning a successful fence company, becoming a motivational speaker, having my music on platforms all across the world, that other people can too. And it was my job to share it with them, because if you don't share a truth with somebody, I feel like you must dislike them in some way. And I love everybody. So I just want to share it with the whole world.
That's awesome, and you're right. It's you practice something that I'm a big believer in is give without any expectations, right? You just
Absolutely.
give and you give and you give because I don't even you can't put a number on how much it comes back to you, right? It just always comes back. It may not be from that person you gave to,
Sure.
but you call it karma, call it the cosmos, call it God, call it whatever it is. But somehow or another, when you do good and you continue to do good,
Mhm.
if the good finds its way back to you, right?
Absolutely. There's an old saying that says, he who does more than what he's paid for will soon be paid for more than what he does.
Exactly. And no truer words have been said, man. That's
Right.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So how long have you been doing the speaking gig per se as Rise Above Speaking? How long have you been actually out actually promoting yourself and doing speaking gigs all over the country at least? And maybe the world. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe,
So it's been close to a year now. I've spoken Miami. I've spoken Las Vegas. I've been speaking at recovery centers, and now I decided to really step up my platform. So in the past couple of months, I've been really taking social media by storm and really pumping out a lot of content, trying to add as much value to my circle of influence as possible.
that's awesome. Yeah, because and speaking of that, and when we talk, I have no questions, right? So I go wherever the conversation goes, and that leads me to an interesting thing because you brought up social media, an area that I'm a big fan of, and a lot of people don't grasp it, don't like it, don't use it, think it's stupid, think it doesn't work, think it's nuts. You can throw out all the words, right?
Sure.
But let's talk about that for a minute because it's an area that I love. Um, It's pretty valuable to what you are trying to do, and it's pretty valuable to a lot of things that I'm trying to do in my world. So, give me your vision on the world of social media and good, bad, indifferent. Should we use it? Obviously, you believe we
Absolutely.
should, but
Absolutely.
what
Well,
happens if we don't? What
well,
happens if we
they
don't?
said the same thing about the television and then about the computer. Oh, this is only going to be around for so long and then it's gone. Well, here we are. It's 2025. Social media drives every single aspect of business. It drives the lead flow. It drives your company message. It's the way where people contact you for work. It's your ability to be in front of so many more people without ever leaving your office. It's one of the most quintessential pieces when it comes to building any business because it allows you to really amplify your brand voice much louder than you could ever do in any other way.
Absolutely. You know, a catchphrase I use a lot. I did a couple posts today where I included it is and truly believe this and is visibility equals opportunity, right? And the more visible we are, the more opportunities that we're not spending our whole life trying to find that. Take the fence world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's hard to find enough people every day, maybe to, if you got to do it all on your own. But if
Sure.
you're out there and you're doing what you do, people find you, right? The opportunities find you. And if
Sure.
they don't find you, and that's my biggest point I'll make with anybody that listen. If you're not doing it, somebody else that's doing it, and they may not be as good at what you do,
Mm-hmm.
but they're going to get that lead. They're going to get that deal because that's where the customer finds you, right? They're going to go where they find you. Like you talked earlier, the website. Think about the website. When years ago nobody had a website, then a lot of people had a website, and then it was like if you didn't have a website, you didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty bold when I tell people if you're not active on social media and have some kind of presence, for a large percentage of the audience out there, you don't exist. Because they're not going to find you.
Absolutely. And the same thing kind of goes for like let's take retail operations for example. The same thing still applies when it comes to canvassers and brand ambassadors. You have to have boots on the street, knocking on doors, introducing yourself,
right,
staying top of mind to your customer and letting them know that you are the premier provider for that area, that you're the one that wants to know them, wants to build the relationship, and wants to stay, in their vocabulary when it comes to them looking for a provider for whatever service you have.
Exactly. So because I'd like to touch on, three subjects with you and anything else you want to talk about. But tell me about the fence world first, the fence company. Let's talk about how what you do, where you're at, how you got into that, and
Sure.
And why in the world somebody should buy from Privacy Fence Company instead of somebody else.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So my brother also owns a fence company, and I started doing fence with him when I was very young. We all know Megan has been in the home improvement industry for many, many years. Well, when we came together, I learned so much about what the window siding and roofing companies were doing and like interior, like bathroom companies that the fence industry just doesn't do. They don't touch it at all. They believe that they're this own little entity outside of home improvements, which they're not.
Right.
So we said, how do we take the customer centric approach, the warranties, the price presentation, the whole experience that you get from all of these other big name stores, your Renewal by Anderson's, your giant stores, and put it on little fence guy, the little mom and pop. It can be taught to anybody. Systems and processes are the most important thing in a business. So I tried to teach it to my brother. Before I started this company, he wanted nothing to do with it. He I know better. I'm okay. I'm doing it like this. So I started my own, and we created proprietary installation methods, our own sales system designed by Chuck Toki. I don't know any other fence company that's got a 10-step selling system. We sell in the house. I created relationships with our manufacturers to have them build us tabletop fence displays. They were, wow. They're like, you guys sell in the house? Absolutely. So we got with Engage to build a great presentation. We created a double lifetime no gap warranty on all of our products. Stopped selling wood, so there's nothing organic in our menu of items that you can purchase from us. So anything that's a maintenance free product, metal or vinyl, we warranty for the life of the home of the homeowner and the person after them. It's not a
Wow.
manufacturer warranty. You hit it with your car, it's defected, tree falls on it, no matter what, you give us a call, we come out, we fix it absolutely free. And that's a big deal.
Mhm.
So obviously, with those type of things in place, we have to have a little higher prices. But the experience and the expertise is the value proposition there. So we put salesmen in place recently, and yeah, we're
Yeah,
off and running.
love it. And you're located out of Cedar Springs, Michigan. Is
Yeah,
that
Cedar
correct?
Springs, which is just north of Grand Rapids. So if you're in the Kent County area
Hmm.
and you're watching this, give us a call. We'll handle all your fencing needs.
Love it. Love it. That's incredible, and it's really cool to see how you've taken the the home improvement world, and it's interesting to me that something you just said. I would have never thought that fence companies wouldn't see fencing as a home improvement segment. That's it's odd that they don't. To me, I would have always assumed it, but you're working with what Megan brings and what you bring, and training you've had with Chuck. I mean, we've had Chuck on the show. Chuck's yeah, you don't get much better than Chuck Toki, right?
Yeah, phenomenal.
Yes, he gets me fired up every time I watch anything he does or listen or see him speak someplace.
Sure.
Um, it's a highlight of anything that I happen to be at. If all of a sudden the last place I ran into him someplace, all of a sudden this guy kind of taps me on the shoulder and I turn around quick and it was Chuck. It's just it's great to see him. Good guy. Uh, so you do the fencing
Mhm.
and you use social media and I love how you do work that into that whole process. Um, let's talk about how you've used social media and virtual and everything else that you do with the music career because I've watched your videos, I've shared your videos with people. I especially love the one I can't think of the name of the song. I'll be brutally honest. The one that you did where Megan was actually in the song.
Lost without you.
Lost Without You. That's it. Yeah, yeah. Excellent song and just a great video. Filmed in Grand Rapids, by the way,
Yeah, down
because
south.
I recognized it. And you too. I recognize you and Megan too. But yeah, yeah. Tell me how that's helped. In the music career, uh, that's got to be huge. I mean, if you're not, and we can learn from other industries because uh, I I love to talk to people that listen about the fact that talking within your own industry is important. Networking within your own industry is important, but we all tend, even for outside the box thinkers like we are, it's easy to fall into groupthink within an industry, right? Because
Absolutely.
there's just certain things that we all say, certain things we all think and talk about, and even if you're a little bit of the out of the box or see no box thinker, it by osmosis you almost become an in the box thinker if you're around that too much. So
Yeah,
I love looking out of the box and working with people that have nothing to do with what I do.
sure.
Because what you do with your music, what you do with your speaking career, what you do with the fence company, uh, I can learn a lot from that, and it transcends all industries. I guess that's the point, right?
Sure. So when it comes to music, unlike the home improvement industry, where someone hears your name, they know you have a service, and they can hope that you do a good job of installing bathrooms or fence or roofing. A musician without social media, you do not exist.
Mm-hmm.
You have to create a social media presence and have your music somewhere in the interweb that they can draw from. That's the only way you're ever going to book a show, ever get any kind of your brand voice out at all, because let's face it, we're trying to cater to people who have a specific taste.
Mm-hmm.
Not you can say music, but I can say bathroom. Everybody's taste in bathroom isn't the same taste so that's the same thing with music. You have to be able to find your niche of where people are really bought into what your message is, your sound, and maybe just your story as a whole. So that's what we've did. We've really leveraged social media, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, to put the music out in such a way that we've been able to book shows. We've been able to have our music played in China and Belarus. I mean, no matter where, all over the world, where I would never be able to reach those audiences had I not been able to have my music online. So I mean,
Exactly.
it's absolutely imperative. And unlike in the home improvement industry where you're reaching into your area where you can physically work and do
Hmm.
jobs, music, you can really stretch those feelers out and get all the way across the world and try to find your audience no matter where they're hiding at.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, and obviously, uh, for anybody that hasn't followed you, and they will after today, or I'm going to say they're a big dummy. How's that? Um, the Rise Above Speaking. Obviously, I see you everywhere, all over the place on social, and I think it's a threefer, right? Because everything you just said about the fencing world and about the fencing world is very local.
Hmm.
The music is worldwide. The speaking technically is worldwide, even though I'm not sure you're
Sure.
necessarily going to Moscow to speak, or maybe you would if the
I,
number's
I,
right.
I most certainly would, but our brand message is reaching those areas absolutely
Yes,
via
that's
TikTok and Instagram and Facebook.
yeah. It's and it's amazing how it's amazing. It's just so amazing that so many people still don't get the power of social, the power of digital, the power of virtual, whatever terms we want to use, right? And it falls into another area, and we haven't talked about this at all before, even before the show or whatever. But uh, again, where my little Beattie mind goes. No, you have the Beattie mind. I have a Beattie mind. Um, where, okay, I'll never make it in comedy. I better stick with sound stuff. But what do you think about how much are you involved with AI? Because that's a big subject nowadays. And we had a great guest on a couple of weeks ago, Kevin Fox from over in your part of the world, um, and also not really in your part of the world, but closer than I am. But I met up with him in Naples, Florida, a while back. I introduced him last week at a trade show. He did a talk or a couple talks on AI. How much do you find yourself using AI today? Where do you see it going? And what about the ethics of AI? Because I just got doing I'm
Great.
a amongst many things I do. Uh, I'm a metal coffee shop influencer. So once a month we talk about some subject. And the last one we just put out was about the ethics of AI, right?
Sure.
Because there's so many great things, my opinion, and I'll let you talk. But ethics has to be a big part of whatever you do with anything, but including AI, right? So give me your view on AI and how you used it, how you plan to use it, the ethics of it, anywhere you want to go.
Well, I use AI all day, every day.
Hmm.
It's an integral part of all of my businesses because it helps me be able to take a thought in my head and and get it to an audience in a way that translates to them. I can change the language of it. I can take my whole brand identity and upload it into AI and then tell AI what I'm trying to pull out of it. And let's face it, when you're dealing with things like ChatGPT, stupid in, stupid out.
Right.
So if the more information that you can feed that program, the better the information that you're going to get out. I call it my personal assistant. So
Hmm.
I use it for everything. I use it to spell check things. I use it to make sure that my emails are written in a professional way if I needed to do that. I'll use it for multiple things. If I get stuck writing a song, I'll put the whole lyrics in and say, okay, what fits here? And I'll see if that's something that aligns with what I'm thinking and what my message is. Or I'll take it and I'll have it help me rewrite some of my speech work as well. So AI is very powerful. It's an amazing tool. Ethically, I feel like right now we're in a good place with it, but I feel like as it grows and as people are able to manipulate it on the back end, coding wise and things like that, that there's a ton of room for negative things to happen. But that's with everything,
Hmm.
it we had this whole talk about ethics with computers when computers first came
Right.
out, how people can look into your home or they can hack into your banking and stuff. It's all about the people that are in control and keeping a lot of safeguards on your computer and have some good ethics in yourself the way that you're going to use it, so that you're not using it to manipulate situations or people or whatever, what have you.
Yeah, that's
I
well
love it.
said.
I
I
absolutely love it.
I love it too. You mentioned Chat GTP. That's my go-to right now. I'm not saying I would never switch, but it's been good to me. It's right on my home screen on my phone, on
Yep.
my iPad. That's how much I use it. Um, and along with what you said, I love it for idea generation. Uh,
Mhm.
I'm blessed to do a fair amount of writing for a lot of the trade magazines. Sometimes they give me a topic, which is easier for me because that took that part out of it. Other times, write whatever you want. Okay, and it's due on Monday, and I hadn't done anything because I've been traveling, and you know how you get brain dead, right?
Mhm.
I have no idea what I'll write about. So it's so great to just plug in, give me, all the prompts. Everybody knows what those are by now, but the prompts, and all of a sudden I got 30 different subjects. Nope, 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 maybe, nope, absolutely not, maybe, right? And all of a sudden I go from 30 to 3. Yeah, I want to do that one.
Yep. And then
Eh,
yeah,
Right. And sometimes, I don't write the whole article with it by any means because I feel like
right.
people ought to hear me, right?
Sure.
But I'll have it generate an outline, you know. Give,
Hmm.
give me an outline for a 2000 or a 2000 word article about X, to kind of get started, and then I'll write it. And like you said, I use it for grammar, spell check. And what I like about it too is depending on your audience, you can write it, and then you can have it change your personality based on the audience. Do I want it very stoic and very professional, or do I want the same message but a little more witty and quirky? Right? It,
Right.
it's it, it does a great job. Same message that I wrote, but
Hmm.
just fun it up, liven it up, or tone it back down. Right? Because let's face it, what I would do on a Facebook or even on like a blog or anything on like a video on TikTok or Reels, probably not going to do on LinkedIn, right? Because it's just two different audiences, right? So it's so good with that. I love that subject, and the biggest thing, and I know where your vision is on that because just listening to you, but it's another one of those things that ain't going away.
No, absolutely not. I also use it to plan out my week. I'll put in a bunch of
Mm.
things. These are all things that I need to get done. Let's optimize the week so that
Mm-hmm.
I get the most effectiveness out of my time. Or I'll say, here's all of the things that I need my installers to do. Let's build a system and process around this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's build some KPIs around this. It's absolutely quintessential in business today. So I mean, it's not going anywhere. Definitely, there's some questions around ethics around it, but I mean, let's use it. Maximize your ability. It takes your brain power and 10x's it, right?
Yes.
So I mean, the ability to free up all of your time by like just simply scheduling your day out or your
Yeah.
week out, like I said, or like tasking your employees or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a game changer.
It is, and I start using it. I use it for one thing right now, which is I tend to go to Chat GTP more than I go to Google sometimes to get answers if there's something I want to know.
Now, see,
Right?
you just tapped on a big thing. Now it's getting pretty known. A lot of business owners don't know this, but the people that are in the tech world know that people are searching Chat GPT and Grok and other
Mm-hmm.
AI software before they're searching Google. They're saying, "Give me the 10 best fence companies in the area and the reasons why they're the best."
Mm-hmm.
They'll break down the information and do all the research for them so they don't have to do the thinking, instead of just here's the guys who paid the most to get top on Google. AI is able to really break down all of these companies, tell them the information about how long they've been in business, what their value propositions are, their warranties, and really help them make a decision. So it's really important to start getting listed on places like ChatGPT,
Mm-hmm.
because you can list your company in there the same way that you list on Google to become more, so that the software is more familiar with who you are instead of just grabbing what it can from the web, from the spiders.
Yes, I think that's good advice, and I find myself I type or talk both to it, but I find and I'm sure I'm not the only one because I've read that it makes sense, but I feel a little weird at times. But I talk to it like it's a person. I thank it. I ask it to please do something. I tell it, hey, that's perfect, spot on, or that really sucked.
I do
I
too.
love I love to tell when it really sucks. I say, I don't know, you missed the mark on that one. That really sucked. And he goes, well, I'm really sorry, Randy, that I didn't get this right. Well, it's like I'm talking to a person. It's funny, you
It's
know,
learning though.
but it is because
Mhm.
it's learning your voice, right? It's learning your personality. It's learning the quirkinesses of how you talk or speak or think, right? And so when you do ask it to do something, the likelihood of it being more realistic every day, and it learns every day, every time you do something, right?
Mhm.
So that's why if I tell it, if it does something really good, I want it to remember that I
Correct.
like that. But I
Yep.
also want you to recognize that I hated that. Don't ever do that
Right.
again.
Because
You know?
if you just say try again, then it just figures that that might have been good enough. But if you say, hey, you really missed your target there,
Yeah.
it'll stay away from that avenue of thinking when
Yes.
it's calculating what it wants you to
You know
do.
something I haven't tried yet, and because as you know, I travel multiple states, right?
Right.
And when I'm on the road, um, I'm going to not use it as a GPS, but I'm going to work on for my next trip, feed in all the different spots that I want to go, and
Mhm.
then have it. I've never tried this. I assume it'll do it. I would think. Tell it to give me the best use of my time. You
Absolutely.
design the trip for me, and I'm sure it'll do that easily. Because
Yeah.
I sit and look at a map or think about I know my territory, right, but I don't always get it right. Sometimes it's like, if you do this and this and this and this, it's going to save you, 14 and a half hours during your 7-day trip, right?
Mhm.
So I'm going to start doing some of that too. I think
Yeah.
that would be kind of fun to see what it does.
Yeah, create an itinerary for you while
Yeah,
you're in each place.
exactly.
You can even
Or-
say, "Hey, look, ChatGPT, I have X amount of dollars, and I want to leave the country. Plan me a vacation full itinerary, and watch what it can do." I mean, it's crazy what's possible.
Mhm.
That's why I believe that it's not ever going anywhere, and every
No,
business owner should be using it. I've talked to people that have never even. They're like, "What's ChatGPT?" And it
yeah,
just blows my mind.
yeah. Yeah, so last week at the show and a couple weeks ago we had on Building Wins Live Kevin Fox with Foxworks, and he's an AI specialist, great guy, and but he spoke down at the show last week in Nashville at the or in Knoxville at the National Frame Builders Association that I was at, and we had him on the week before. In both places, he said a statement which was he opened up the show or his talk at in Knoxville. He goes, "So AI, it's the future, right?" And he looks around and says, "Wrong. It's not the future. It's right now.
It's right
It's
now.
right now."
Yeah.
And he's right. I love the way he opened that up because you can see everybody going, "Oh, we're going to get some futuristic stuff here, right?" No, you're not getting anything future. This is today. And like he said, which is so to the point, is he said, "We're going to talk for an hour and 15 minutes, and I'm going to shake hands with a few of you. And by the time we leave this room, there's already changes, right? It's that fast. There's already changes." So he said that's why you got to get in on, get out, and get learning and get started. And so I love your belief on that too, because that's another one of those areas. And you're so right. It does amaze me that people are either scared of it
You're right.
or don't even know the first thing of what it is and what can it do for you. And everybody was scared of social media once, right? Everybody's scared of doing podcasts once. Everybody was scared of, I'm going to guess, the first time you jumped on stage with a set that you knew and loved.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you were shaking a little bit and felt like going and throwing up before you went on stage, right?
Nice space boots, but
Yeah, yeah,
it's imperative that we leverage every tool that we have at our disposal for anything that we're doing.
yes, yes, perfect.
Without a doubt.
So, what about let's finish up here because you've been kind of your time. Let's finish up with your back to your rise above speaking. We've got I know Wes has had it up on the screen a couple of times how to get a hold of you. I thought at one point I saw, but what is the I don't know if genre is the right word because you're a musician too, but what is the genre? I'm going to use that as unless you correct me, which feel free. Of talks that you give. I know it's motivational, inspirational. What kind of people should get a hold of you? I'm going to assume everybody, but associations, businesses, groups, in private employers, public employers. Who should get a hold of Daniel?
All of the above. If you have a team who are not fired up, I'll come and get them fired up.
Hmm.
If you're looking for some mindset coaching to work on your resilience or overcoming adversity, I'm the guy to talk to. So it doesn't matter if it's a single person, if you've got a team of salespeople, if you just want me to come talk to your marketing department, or if you're a recovery coach and you have a bunch of people that are, working on bettering their life in that way, I'll come speak to them as well. So my message is broad, but it's all encompassing. That umbrella that I speak on is really for everybody. Everybody is dealing with a little bit of not enoughness, right? Every once in a while we feel like, can I really do this? Absolutely. You have a lion in you. You've got greatness in you. All you have to do is tap into that furnace that's already lit there and stoke that fire, because it's there. It's yours. You were built for so much more. Let's go out and create our destiny. The world is a blank canvas and you're the artist. You just have to pick up that brush. And that's what I inspire people to do.
I'm fired up right now just listening to you sitting on a couch.
Absolutely.
I mean, on a stage, I mean, I don't think I'd ever leave. I give you a standing ovation, ask you to come back. No, that's good stuff. So, the ever famous should ask question. If either what did we not talk about today, and we got a few more minutes if you need it, but if not, we're good. Or that we didn't talk about that you wished I would have. Or what do you, when you're out and about, whether it's in your fence business, your speaking business, or your musician business, musical business, or all the above, that you just wish people would ask Daniel Beattie? You just wish they'd ask, and never do.
Yeah, that's a great question. I would have to say is, how did you come from being just a poor ghetto kid who never graduated high school, just got a GED, spent a bunch of time in jail when he was young, to someone who's building businesses, inspiring others? And I would have to attribute that to great mentorship, great mindset coaches, and just a belief in yourself that, this is not it, that whatever you're going through now shall pass, and that you're built for so much more.
I love that. And people need that, right? Because some people, and you, I guess I'm asking you as more of an expert on this than I, some people have maybe an innate ability to see more of themselves and to understand this is point in time, but not everybody's built that way, right?
Sure.
And even people that are built that way still need help. But man, the people that just can't get out of their own way because they just can't, the old can't see the forest for the trees, right? This is my life. This is all it's going to be. I suppose sometimes imposter syndrome can come into play. I'm never going to be that good. I mean, I can't ever be on video and sing a song like Daniel does, because I just can't do that, right? Well, you just told where you came from in your background, and like you said earlier in the show, you're proof you can. You speak on stages.
Sure.
You got music watched all over the world, and you came from the background that we've talked about. So it's kind of like called BS on the fact that I can't do it because of whatever reason, right? You can't. Sure. As long as you take a breath every day and get up, you can do it.
Absolutely. What I have to say to that too is, if you guys know anybody in your circle, in your life, that does feel like that, reach out to them and mentor them. When people are stuck like that and they have that type of self-limiting belief system, that feeling of not enoughness keeps them from asking for mentorship. So if you're the mentor type, if you care about that person, or you just love to see people grow, reach out and pour into those people. You'll never know how much just a couple drops of you pouring into them will, make them grow.
Love it. Love it. So real quick too, Her King's Music is Her King Music, no S. Okay. Where did that come from? Obviously, it involved your lovely wife, Megan, I'm guessing, but give us the scoop, because I know the Rise Above makes sense, but I've always wondered, I mean, I kind of guessed knowing you and Megan, but where did that, what made you come up with that song as opposed to Daniel Bebop Beattie or something? Well, you can use that. There's no charge. That's a freebie for being on.
I'm stealing that. So she's the lead queen, and I'm her king. So everybody, I've heard that so many times.
Love that.
And I just thought it was great. And everything that I write is relationship centric. It's to, for, and about my wife. So it's literally her king singing to her. So even if no one ever heard my music, if it never went anywhere, it went to the person that I wanted it to go to. So that's what it's all about.
There's nothing else to talk about. We got to end on that. That's perfect. Man, brilliant stuff. Daniel, appreciate your friendship, and I appreciate you jumping on today. And do not stop doing what you do, man.
Thank you so much.
You're impressing a lot of people, and you're doing a lot of good stuff out there. So keep it up, Ben.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's been
anytime,
awesome.
brother. You got it, buddy. All right. There it is. Her King Music, didn't hit the S in there. Rise Above Speaking and Privacy Fence Company. I think I got that right. Out of Cedar Rapids, Michigan. Daniel, I've known for a year or two now, at least, maybe a little longer. And his wife, Megan, that we've talked about. Megan knows marketing. If you're into the marketing world at all, lead generation, man, look her up and follow her. She's world class. And that's it for today, man. Just thanks for jumping on. Love to build wins together. And, until next time, remember this: live it, love it, own it. And you only get one go around. So love what you do and do what you love. And while you're at it, go make today your best day ever. Until tomorrow. Cheers, my friends.